Hey everyone. I think this is only my second or third Instagram live, and this is going to be my first gosh, I have to turn that over. I'm gonna get distracted. It's gonna be my first IGTV. Hopefully this works out. I'm gonna give it a try, and I guess that's why I'm a little nervous, because it's new. But bear with me. And you know what's gonna make this really fun is if you guys comment and respond back and ask questions. And I hope that you learn something while you're on here. I know you're not here to make it fun for me. You're here to see if you can learn something. But I'm going to come back to this. But did you know that if you're commenting, you're asking questions, you're actively listening and participating, you're more likely to retain the information? So if you're seeing this on IGTV, you already know, but the original live viewers haven't seen the title yet, that the topic of this video is going to be how to get the most out of your fitness program. And I did a little promo for this, and I said, I think what I say might surprise you. And the reason is, I kind of think when you hear that title, you expect that someone is going to go for, like you probably expect me to talk about like how long your workout should be, or what style of workout, or how heavy of weights you should lift, or how often you should work out, or how many reps you should do. And I'm not going to talk about any of that. I am going to talk about where I really see clients get results versus not. And it does lead to the kind of program that I offer, spoiler alert, but guys, there's a reason I offer what I do. I've seen that it's effective. And if you have no intention of participating in a virtual boot camp with me ever, I still think you can learn something from this, because you can apply these same principles to other types of workouts and other settings. So let's get into it. So first of all, let's talk about, what do we mean when we say results? Now, people have different goals when it comes to a fitness program, right? Sometimes people want to get stronger. Sometimes they want to lose weight. Sometimes they want to tone up. Sometimes they want to tone a specific area of their body. But the way that I really define success is people who just develop a consistent habit. And once you have that consistent habit, you can leverage it toward a lot of different goals, right? Like over the last 5 years that I have been consistent with home workouts, I've had a lot of different goals. I have recovered from a serious illness and kind of started back at square one with my fitness. I've done really intense programs that are like the, just kind of the hardest thing that you might ever do. I've done it, you know, I mean, not to brag, but like a lot of other people have done Insanity Max 30 also, but you really couldn't make a workout harder than that. Sorry, hold on one second. Okay, it's suddenly getting like really warm down here from the fireplace, but maybe I'm just nervous. I wanted to see if the door was open or closed. Anyways, guys, but so the way that I'm defining success is consistency, because that is how you will get the most out of it, whatever your goal is. And of course, that holds true with long-term weight loss as well. You know, nutrition is part of it, and I'm not really going to address that. Tonight, I will make some other videos about that. But setting nutrition aside, staying consistent with moving your body is one of the best things you can do to promote your health, including maintaining a healthy weight for the long term. So with our goal defined as consistency, what are the ways to get that result? The most effective ways that I've seen. Do you have any guesses? Type out your guesses before I get into it. And by the way, the whole purpose of this video, I'm not promoting anything specific, but if it's a free resource, number one. And again, hopefully I would love for you to feel like you learned something by the end of this. But in addition to that, it's just a way, I mean, for you guys to get to know me a little bit, but if you like what you hear, and you decide that you would like to work together on a more personal basis, there are plenty of ways to get in touch with me on my profile. And, you know, in a paid program, you would get more personal attention from me. Obviously, I don't get to know your story really when you're just following me here and commenting now and then. So to have that more one-on-one attention is what's different when we are officially working together. All right, so let's get into it. So how to achieve that consistency and get the best results out of your fitness program. It sounds really simple, but the number one thing I would say, for starters, you got to commit, okay? None of this like, let me try one thing this week and one thing next week. I will say there's some merit to that. I believe in trying different programs until you find something you really love and enjoy. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But I did a lot of dabbling in my life before I found these workouts. And part of the reason I really love them is you start a program on day one and you're like, I am committing to do this for, in the case of the program starting on Monday, 6 weeks. Or maybe it's 3 months. Maybe it's 3 weeks. But you decide you're going to do the program and you commit to stick it out to the end. So that is habit number one. And it's honestly more of a mental habit than a physical habit, right? Like, yes, you have to actually start your workout each day and then complete the workout. But it really is that mental decision where you're like, there's no question about it. It's not like, well, I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow. No, for the next 6 weeks, I am. I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to set my alarm. Obviously, there's things that throw us off if we get really sick or, you know, big things in life happen. Okay? I'm not saying that you might not get thrown off a track, but like extenuating circumstances aside, you're going to finish it and going to find a way. Or, you know, like, things happen that are unexpected. I used to be a newspaper reporter and I used to have to work a lot later than expected all the time. So in that case, I would have had to do a workout in the morning to make sure that I got it done. Or say I was at work like super, super late. You know, you can shift your rest day. Sometimes you can do doubles, but with that commitment, that is a statement that you are not going to let it knock you off track. And that's what you need. That's how you need to go into it. Okay, so that's tip number one. And there's a number two in between, okay? But when we get to number three, I'm going to tell you about, okay, so what if you committed and then all of a sudden you're like, you know, I'm not sure if this is working. So we'll address that. Okay, step one is commitment, or tip one. Okay, the number two tip that I have for getting the most out of your workout program, again, you know, these are not like, well, give it your all in every rep. I believe that, but that's, you know, that's not on my top 3 list of tips. My second tip is actually to give what you want to get, or to kind of be the coach you wish you had. Okay, and I'll make an analogy for, you know, if you're in a group exercise class or if you're working with a personal trainer. But let me talk about the virtual boot camp environment first, because that's what I know the best. Sorry, sometimes you get a distracting text message during your live. Check that later. You have to give what you want to get. So here's an example. So I offer virtual boot camps every month, and you know, sometimes people say, well, I feel that I'm not getting a lot of support from the group. So in that case, what you can do is you can really just look to yourself and say, well, am I really pouring into the other group members and creating an environment where we support each other, doing my part to do that? Okay, so or, you know, for example, like if you were in a group exercise class and you're like, I really wish there was people were friendlier. I might not go back because people are kind of unfriendly. Well, have you gone out of your way to be friendly? I mean, I know it's kind of a pain, right, to have to take the initiative, but who knows what kind of environment you can create if you make that kind of contribution. And at the end of the day, it's just another excuse if you're sitting there saying, well, I'm not getting what I want out of this group. We're going to move on to number 3 in a minute, where it's like, okay, if I hate this class, I'm not telling you just have to keep going with the class if you hate it. But if you're kind of finding small reasons to quit, that's your, that's kind of your, what is it? Like, evil twin, the like alter ego who's like just trying to get you to quit, the devil on your shoulder, I guess. And you have to be stronger than that. So give what you want to get in whatever experience, or, with a personal trainer, for example, if you feel like they don't listen to you, for example, before you quit, first of all, you could have a conversation with them and say, you know what, I told you that I only want to do low impact and you keep asking me to jump. What's going on with that? So who knows? Maybe there's a reason that they haven't told you. Probably they should respect your wishes, but at least you can have a conversation before you just like don't show up for your next appointment, right? Would you agree that that would be a better course of action than just quitting? And of course, there's an in-between where you could like find a different trainer. So we're going to get to that in tip number 3. Okay, but finishing out tip number 2, give what you want to get the best results from your workout program. And the other kind of objection I could see to this is if someone's like, well, okay, I signed up for this program, like, you're the coach, why should I have to give anything? And I get that, I really do, but if you want to take care of your health in the long term, it's a commitment. And, sooner or later, each one of us has to take responsibility for that. So it's kind of one of the reasons that most of my, if my boot camp people are in it month after month, I eventually say, hey, do you want to become a coach? Because they're kind of doing it by that time and encouraging everyone. And, people develop friendships, and the environment and the community really keeps people coming back. But it all starts with doing your part in building the community. Yes, it takes a little time, and we all just have to realize that that is something that it has to be a commitment. It has to be a priority. Going back to number 1, you've got to commit. And yeah, it's annoying to just not have it handed to you, but that's kind of how the whole health, fitness, nutrition world works, right? Like we've got to take responsibility for what we eat and learning about nutrition for ourselves and evaluating all the information that's out there. Like at the end of the day, kind of just relying on one system only gets you so far. You got to take responsibility for if something's not quite working for you, figuring out how to make it work and taking initiative. All right. So that bridges to my 3rd tip, which is having a solutions focused mindset. And again, it might be kind of surprising that all 3 of these tips for getting the most out of your fitness program are really more mental habits, but that is the truth of it. Like you can have the best designed workout where it's like super challenging and targets all the right muscles, but guys, you have to be consistent with it if it's going to work. So that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you in this video tonight. A solutions focused mindset. What does it mean? Well, I had the scenario before of you're working with a personal trainer and they don't really listen to you. So I said the first, instead of just like canceling all your appointments, you can have a conversation and say, I really feel like you're not listening to me well. What can we do? And that probably, there's a chance that they can say, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry. And they'll listen better from then on because you got their attention. And maybe they don't learn. Okay. So then, yeah, switch trainers, find a different trainer, find a different format, but don't quit on yourself. Okay. There is always a solution. And sometimes you got to get creative. I don't know, maybe like, if it's not that easy to find a trainer, right? Say you live in a small town and there's only one who's local, but there are other solutions out there. Among other things, there are videos you can do so you can work out at home, or maybe you have some equipment or you belong to a gym and you can look up some workouts yourself that you can do. But you're never going to lose if once you take responsibility, once you become your own, best advocate, and you know, you have to become a lifelong learner. Yes, it's worth paying experts. I really believe that, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is your responsibility. Like, I have worked with nutrition coaches, and I read a lot of nutrition blogs, and I read academic research papers, and I don't trust any one person. You know, there are some that I trust, but I still am going to like second guess and double check things that they post on their blog, because I want to learn more and know more for myself. Like if they're recommending something and they're not really explaining it, I want to do my own research before I change what I'm putting in my body with the food that I eat, right? And it's the same with fitness. Like if your trainer is having you do something that you feel is unsafe, yes, ask about it. And at the end of the day, if they've explained it and you still, if it still doesn't feel right to you, you don't have to do it. Don't give away your power. And that's part of a solutions-focused mindset, that you have to be your best advocate and leave all options on the table. So again, you know, with it relates back to tip number 2, in the virtual bootcamp environment, that you have to, you know, do your part to help create the environment that you want to be part of. But also propose things, you know, like many times I have had members of my boot camps propose like a kind of like a game or, you know, a theme, or ask a question that prompts my daily coach post that I'm going to be writing. And so they're all influencing, like it's not just all coming from me. And the participants that are the most engaged that way, it's probably no surprise, are getting the best results. They have achieved that consistency because they are engaged, they are taking responsibility. You know, it isn't enough just to pay over the money for the class. Like, you got to show up, and you've got to show up mentally as well as physically. So I think that's really what I wanted to say. Hopefully this video gave you some food for thought. It was a little bit of tough love, but these realizations have been so very important for me in not just my fitness journey, but my attitude about many different things in life. So I just feel like it's worth sharing over and over, like I do in different videos, different ways. So like I said, if you liked this and you're interested in potentially working together, my inbox is always open. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and thanks for being part of my community just by being here on social media. I appreciate you, and I'm wishing you a happy and healthy year ahead.